Hi, everybody. Welcome back for the spring semester of 2022 at Nyack College. I hope you had a nice time off for the holidays. And I want to welcome you and explain a few things to you that might be different this semester. Again, I'm Patricia Schust, your professor, and I will be teaching you two classes this semester. The reason for that is you need to take certain classes as you progress in the program. So Professor Bill McBride is teaching a 2-credit course to you, and I will bring you a 1-credit course on libraries and information science and doing research to fill out that 2-credit with a 1-credit, so you get 3 credits in that class. All right. Then I have 2 new teachers who will be teaching you other classes, and I will also be teaching you a 3-credit course for history, and it's called World Civilization. So on Wednesdays, for the first 6 weeks, you will have to click on 2 classes that I'm presenting. After 6 weeks, you will continue with the World Civilizations class. The library class will be over because it is only 1 credit. At the end of this semester, you will have your 4 credits. Your 12 credits for the semester that you need. So this semester, you will need to look at 4 different classes. Now, I don't have any homework at all scheduled for you for the library class. The only thing I ask of you is to look at the syllabus and look at the vocabulary that I have listed there. All right. So right now I'm going to begin my lecture for the library class, and it's called Information Literacy. Okay. And let me tell you a little bit about this class so you can see why you're taking it. And since we're not really going to be able to get into the library, I'm going to provide you with a few things that I think would be helpful to you as far as what Nyack's library is like. And with your ID card, you may go to the library and use any of the materials or any of the sources that they have on hand, and they're all available to you. All right. So what I'm going to do today is tell you about the course, and then I'm going to tell you a little bit about Nyack's library, Eastman Library, and then we're going to look at some things about 2 libraries that you probably have either been to or heard of. And one is the New York Public Library. And since we're in New York, I thought that would be very important to go over some information. And also the other one is called the Library of Congress, which is in Washington, D.C. And it is actually the library for Congress. But both of these libraries hold more than just books, and their documents are immense. But let me start with the review on this. Again, this is a 1-credit course that you need for your degree. It's called Information Literacy, and you can log on Wednesdays to view it. The course description is that this will show you how the librarian can help students access available information and resources, and how they can provide a sense of independence while conducting research. So what does that mean? It's talking about how the librarian is there to help you do your research, especially getting started, but also helping you find documents or books or online sources that would help you with your research. The course will also help the student to analyze both print and online information effectively and efficiently, and to comply with the legal and ethical standards of fair use of resources and ideas. So that's talking about looking at the materials that you choose and deciding whether or not they are reputable, whether they're credible, whether they provide accurate information. You know, sometimes people think that if they go online and they're on the internet and they find a website, that the facts are all true. Well, that's not necessarily true, okay? When you go on the internet, you need to look at the sources where the information comes from. And sometimes it's best to compare that information with other information. Same thing with print documents. If you're using a magazine article or a newspaper article from a very far left newspaper, you might like to also consider an article on the same topic from one that's sort of middle of the road or more to the right. Compare what they say and digest the information so that you're getting a clear picture of what's going on, okay? Now, I want to go over the assessment that you will have for this class. It is exactly the same as what I've done in my classes before. Homework assignments are 20 points. As I said, in this class, I expect that you check the vocabulary that I post on my syllabus. All right, the syllabus will have certain words that I've gone over in the lecture. There will be no writing, okay? I may give you a short article here or there, maybe a one-page thing to look at. All you do is click homework and then you click complete, but there will be you will only have to look at that. No writing, no answers, no questions, nothing. However, if you do that, if you study your vocabulary and you review the lectures and you do any additional readings, you will be very successful in this class and you'll have learned some new skills about research. So homework assignments are 20%. Your midterm exam will be 40%. I will have the midterm ready for you much earlier than the other classes because this one class ends earlier, but I will let you know about it. And the week before the midterm, I will give you a full lesson on review about what will be on the test, how many questions, and you'll be able to replay that when you're studying for your exam, and you'll do very well. Again, your final exam will be 40% of your grade. And once again, the week before your final exam, I will do a full review of everything that will be on that exam. So for you, if you listen to the review and review the lectures from the midterm to the end, you will do very well as well. And I want to commend you because last semester I saw the highest grades in classes that I've seen since you started. So that is very important to me. That tells me that you are really getting things out of this program. On my syllabus, under the assignments and videos, I have listed the names of 3 different ways that you can connect with the Eastman Library at Nyack College. I've given you the Director of Library Services. Her name is Christy Choi. And I've given you the phone number at the library and the extension and her email. I've also given you the reference and information librarian, Sanaya Notley, and again, her phone and extension and her email, and also a way to get in touch with the library staff and the phone number and the extension and their email. In this way, if you are studying or you need information on anything, whether it's your classes that you're taking at Nyack or other things that you're interested in learning about, you can call them and they will help you, all right? The first thing I want to try is to show you a little bit about the Eastman Library. Okay, so we're going to look at that now. Hold on, let's see if I can get that to work. Okay, so we're looking at this page. This page, again, tells us that the Eastman Library is at Nyack College at 2 Washington Street, where you go for your in-person class. And it also lists Christy Choi, Sanaya Notley, and the library staff. And those are the numbers and the names that you should know. And then I've put the calendar and the hours down. All right, so you can see that coming up in spring from March 7th to March 13th, the library will have some changed hours. So if you needed to go there, you could see that. You also would see that on April 15th through the 17th, which is Easter break, the library will be closed. And then you can see that the last week of the spring semester is going to be May 2nd to 8th. And there's the hours as well. All right, so I put this on for you so that you could have something to refer to and some way to like encourage you to go to the Eastman Library to look around. All right. Now, what I'd like to tell you about is that the history of libraries began with organizing collections of materials. Now, they weren't always books. In fact, some of the first libraries contained cuneiform or thick clay tablets with cuneiform writing on it. And they would lay them down in stacks on shelves. Right, this is before the printing press and writing and printing on paper. And the first libraries weren't called libraries, they were called archives, okay? And many times these archives were found in temples, in places like Sumeria. We're going to talk about that in the history class, so you can kind of pull that together. And again, these tablets were about 1 inch thick. Later on, libraries began to include papyrus rolls. Now, some of you might know what those are, and that was in places like Egypt, right, and in the Holy Lands and the Middle East, where they took papyrus reed, banged it and soaked it and banged it till it was flat, and it made like a paper substance. And then they would roll them. They would connect these sheets together by banging them together, and they'd make rolls. And then they would do their writing, their cuneiform or whatever type of writing they were doing on that. Okay, so those are the first 2 kinds of libraries. Now, those are very different from what we know today. So we're going to skip ahead. All right, we're going to skip ahead to the mid-1900s, right? And in the mid-1900s in England, they started the first public library systems like we know today, but they weren't open to everyone. They were there and they were set up as free libraries, but mainly the aristocracy or the rich people were using them because a lot of people who weren't rich didn't know how to read. So they were really serving just the aristocracy, but they were free and you could go in and use whatever they had there. Then again, we're going to jump to 1731, when the first libraries were set up in the United States by Benjamin Franklin. Okay, so Benjamin Franklin did something called subscription libraries. And if you paid a fee to belong, you could go into the library to use it. Now, today we talk about free libraries, but libraries in itself aren't really free. They operate off of your tax budget. So if you look at a tax bill, or if your landlord pays a tax bill, there is a section on there that supports the library, okay? So the subscription library was set up, the ones that he set up, Benjamin Franklin set up, were for people who were donors, who paid money to join the library. Later in 1883, the businessman and philanthropist Andrew Carnegie, the same one that Carnegie Hall is named after, set up the first free lending libraries in the United States. And he provided grants because he had so much money to set up and to establish these libraries. All right, so the type of library we know today, and this is very important because I'm telling you now that it will be on your midterm, is started by Andrew Carnegie, okay? So I want to show you a little something about that. Let me see if I can get that for you. Just give me a second.